Hi, I'm Mary, a librarian and book reviewer with a focus on stories written for kids, tweens, and teens. Today I get to share with you this book called Meet the Mini-Mammals, A Night at the Natural History Museum, written by Melissa Stewart and illustrated by Brian Lies. You might know a lot about the big mammals like elephants or humans, but how much do you know about the tiniest mammals that are found on planet Earth? Lucky for you, this book walks readers through the very, very tiniest of mammals on the Earth in the context of a natural history museum. So each page is an exhibit and it introduces readers to a different kind of animal. Unlike most natural history museums, though, these animals are moving around, so you've got a little bit of that as you're going through the story. As you can see, just like an exhibit in a museum, you have the animal presented here and you have some details about that animal below. So you have maybe what they eat, where they live, what kinds of lifestyles they have, and it's filled with rich vocabulary that helps to describe not only these animals but also the world itself. There's also the fact that these animals are presented in their actual size. So readers get a sense of how big these animals actually are, and there's a connection to something that they might already be familiar with. So they can compare the size or weight of something familiar to this animal so they can really get a sense of just how small these creatures are. As you're going through the book, the question persists, is this the smallest mini mammal? And on every page, they get smaller and smaller and smaller. So readers are really introduced to these very tiny mammals and gives them an idea of how vast the world is and how different mammals can look. At the end, there is a conglomeration of all of the mammals that are presented in this book, so if people want to see it in a more concise way, they can. There's also a map that points to where all of these animals are found around the world, so you can continue learning after the book concludes if you're interested in learning more about these animals. What's really beautiful is these illustrations are so lifelike. They include textures and colors that are true to life and true to the feeling of walking through a natural history museum. So if readers have done that before, they'll have some familiarity as they're going through this story. It is printed on oversized pages. You can see the pages really well from a distance, so good for reading in a classroom if you're learning about mammals. And it is a story that invites rereading, especially as readers are encountering these animals, whether in zoos or in other literature, and they want to learn more about them. This book is filled with really helpful information about animals that readers might not already be familiar with, and it's presented in a way that will resonate, especially with preschool and early elementary school aged readers. If this sounds like a great fit for you or for someone you know, I hope you look for it wherever you get your books.